For my presentation, I have chosen an issue I feel very strongly about. I have chosen the issue of coral reefs dying all around the world. You may be thinking, why should I care if coral reefs die? We need to do all we can to protect the coral reefs because they are a key role in ocean ecosystems, and if they all die, the effects could be terrible. Coral reefs provide key protection for the shoreline, and without them, surrounding villages would fall into the ocean. Reefs also dampen the effects of storms from the open sea and reduce the force of waves, preventing the erosion of shorelines. Corals also support 25% of all marine life, and 500 million people depend on the coral reefs for food. Lots of people think that coral is just rock formations, so they don't think they could ever kill them because they think that coral is just rocks. But that is not true. Although coral reefs often resemble rock formations, they are actually, in fact, made up of many tiny animals known as coral polyps that can be harmed or even killed. Each coral polyp is an individual organism, and the individual polyps coexist as part of a larger colony of polyps that form the large coral reefs we see, such as the Great Barrier Reef. In reefs like the Great Barrier Reef, you can see many amazing bright colors, but this color is not the natural color of the coral. The color actually comes from zooxanthella, which is a single-celled algae. The zooxanthella attaches to the coral, and the coral polyps provide it a safe home, and the zooxanthella provide the coral with its bright color, and most importantly, 98% of all its nutrients it needs to survive. But the coral is very sensitive to climate change and pollution. If they are exposed to either one of these things, they will go through a process called bleaching, where they will expel the zooxanthella and turn white. This has already happened to 70% of the Great Barrier Reef, but this does not mean the Great Barrier Reef has lost all hope. Because once this process happens, the coral is not immediately killed, but if pollution or climate change does not return to normal, the zooxanthella will never return, and then the coral polyps will starve and die. That is why we need to do something very soon to help restore the coral habitat before they are all killed and lost forever. Coral bleaching has greatly affected the Great Barrier Reef and has already killed 29% of all the coral in the Great Barrier Reef and will continue to kill until we restore the coral polyps habitat. Ways we can stop the coral bleaching is by helping to prevent global warming so the water temperatures will stay the same. Some ways we can prevent this is by using renewable resources such as hydroelectric power, solar power, and wind power so we can reduce the emissions from fossil fuels such as gasoline, coal, natural gas, diesel, and plastics. Other ways to reduce emissions is by carpooling, riding a bike instead of driving, and by buying more efficient cars. We also need to prevent water pollution to keep the coral alive. The largest percent of pollution killing the coral is sunscreen. People are using sunscreen and then getting right into the water, which lets lots of sunscreen float off of them into the water. After you apply sunscreen, you should wait up to 10 minutes to let the sunscreen dry on your skin so you can minimize the amount of sunscreen you get in the water. I believe this is a very important issue and there needs to be something done about it very soon, or else millions of people could go hungry and over 25% of the ocean population could die. Thank you for listening to my presentation.